The bullish sentiment continues. Welcome to Stock Talk on May 16th at 5:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's look at SPY on the 180-day chart, but actually before we do that, thank you everyone for your comments. I read through every comment and a lot of them were your volume's too low. And okay, I hope that's fixed now. All right, if it's not fixed, you guys know what I'm gonna do. I have to redo the entire video, right? So let's look at SPY on the 180-day chart, and here it is. We talked about SPY yesterday falling below the 20 EMA line, which is the light blue line, and you guys can see that it had a very hard time pulling above it. But we said that there's two possibilities. One is just to follow the trend downwards, and second is just to follow the bullish sentiment which people were having, because we were at the support, and you guys can see that even we actually got rejected at the support several times before we managed to pull back up over the support. So we basically confirmed this as a support today, and this is actually a really nice confirmation that we are still on an uptrend. So because we managed to pull above this resistance line, and we pulled in such a fashion that, look at this green candle that was formed. Looking at the 1-year chart, we see something like this. You guys can see how we went back to the support, validated the support, and now we're pushing higher. So this is a good sign for the markets that we're going to push even higher. To which price? So we know that there's a resistance at around, let's look at the 180-day chart again. We know that there is a resistance around right here, which is 274. So that would be the next resistance we're looking for. It could easily soar up because we noticed this trend, right guys? If we do peak to peak to peak, I'm not going to draw this in because it's not really valid, but you guys can see that we've broken over the 180-day resistance quite effortlessly, as a matter of fact, and this is very promising. You guys can see how that's promising, because that means we flipped from the bearish stance to the bullish stance, and we're still looking to go long on the markets. And I still believe that the current entry point, wherever we're at right now, could be a good entry point as SPY and the markets continue to push higher. To which numbers? 277, 280, possibly to 286, or even higher than that. Because if we flip from bearish to bullish, right, you guys can expect higher prices are to come. Looking at TVIX, I think this reflects it quite nicely. Look how TVIX dropped so much. People thought this might have been a flip back down, right? A lot of people thought about that. Even yesterday, we were like, there's like a 55% chance of it coming down, but it did reverse back up. So look how much it fell. It fell 7% today. This pretty much shows us that the markets are continuing to push up, and we pretty much got rejected at the 20 EMA. We did briefly go above it, but we got rejected at the 20 EMA, and now we're heading back down. To which number? So we're first looking at $5 as the first one, but this support can still easily break, and then we're looking for a support or markets to kind of even out at $4.65, but it might still continue to drop. So my sentiment is the markets are still good right now, and it's still pretty strong. Does that mean? Yeah. So let's look at /CL, which tracks crude oil futures. Crude oil futures story has not changed. We know that there's a support around 70.80, 70.85, and look how we've been bouncing off of the support. We know that there's a resistance at 71.82, 71.92. And we know that because crude oil, just looking at crude oil, if you guys are new to my channel, we've talked about crude oil for a very, very long time. Look at this bullish trend for crude oil, right? You guys might have heard it on the news that we're like at a 4-year high, right? This is the type of trend we want to go into. So you guys are like, well, how do we trade crude oil if you're new? We can't, if you don't trade futures, how do you trade it? So during the market day, we look at the ticker GUSH or GUSH, which follows crude oil for the most part. And GUSH continues to be a good play. Look at GUSH today. Here it is on the 180-day chart. It actually went over $40. Now recall last week we talked about possible prices. I think it was around $36 or $38 at the time. We talked about prices where it was like 38, 39, 40, 41. Now that it's reached $40, I'm looking for 41, 42, 43, 44. It's a broken record story that crude oil continues to push higher. There is no sign of reversal. Look how slowly we're going up. This is a nice sign, that steady sign that crude oil will continue to go up, because there's no sign of a reversal. So where can we take a position? We broke over the resistance today on GUSH. We're looking for it to come back down to retest the 20 EMA. You guys can see that it's tested the 20 EMA a couple of times. It tested the 50 SMA a couple of times as well down here. Should it start coming down to the 50 SMA, you can take a very nice bet that crude oil will reverse. If not then pretty soon. So looking at crude oil, where's the really good buy price? Well, the really good buy price would still be at this support, 36.18, but we have broken over this resistance. I'm not sure if we'll come back down to 36.18. I mean, it might, certainly, but if it does come down, you guys can find yourself a very good buying opportunity. Looking at DRIP, which is the inverse crude oil, so you guys can imagine how DRIP is making 3-year lows. Today we hit another 3-year low at $6.67. So here's DRIP, right? $6.67. We talked about it making continuously making newer lows, which means we do not want to go into this stock. See how we've kind of just went down. Oh man, look at that. Right? Red candles all over the place. Looking at the 1-year chart, you guys can see that these boxes represent blah, 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 blah. You guys know. Sorry. If you guys are new, the reason I say that is because the people who are returning, in every single video, I've said the same thing. I think like the same exact wording. So maybe some people are tired of hearing it, but for those new people who are watching these videos, welcome. And I've been talking, I drew in these boxes like a week or 2 or 3 weeks ago, actually a couple weeks ago. These boxes represent breakdown areas and major support. So here's DRIP. When it breaks down on the 180-day chart, so right, these are support areas, it continues to go down. When it broke the support, it continues to go down. It broke this major support, it continues to go down. And here, this was a major support. As you guys can see, this is the 180-day support, 180-day low at the time. And now we've continually dropped. And this kind of drop is pretty much the drop where we don't have a confirmation of reversal either. You guys can see how steady the drop is and how we're just making 3-year lows over and over and over again. Sure, DRIP can do something like this, right? I mean, I can certainly see it going up 3% before dropping, but that's not reversal. So let's not hope. Just go into GUSH and just, you know, wait it out. I think I told you guys also last week or 2 weeks ago about a scenario I was pointing out. You guys remember that scenario? Maybe you guys don't remember the scenario, but I talked about this. I talked about when, okay, it was during this day, okay? So I'm looking at the 30-minute chart, so each candle represents 30 minutes. So if you guys, I don't usually look at this chart, but just to show you guys, on May 7th, I talked about how crude oil was making new highs, right? And I said that if you guys bought in around 35.50, if you're a novice trader, you're like, oh my gosh, it's going higher, right? You got pulled in the first 30-minute candle, and then it sold off. I said that you didn't really have to worry. The reason why you don't have to worry is at some point, crude oil is going to get back to 35.70 and you'll make your money. And there's a good possibility because crude oil is just moving higher, right? Higher's this way, lower's down there. Because crude oil is moving higher, that you'll probably make a profit. So if even if you're a novice trader and you got in at the wrong price at the time, look how fast we made it up. We made it up, and then now we're making new highs. And now imagine if you got in at 35.70, people who are, you know, who didn't go in are thinking that you're a genius. Well, honestly, you know, you are pretty smart for going in, but you just follow the trend. And now it's pretty much at $40. So, you know, you guys got in at 35.50. It's $40. You made $4.50 per share. That's a pretty decent amount of profit. So, nothing else to say for crude oil. /GC. So /GC calls for gold futures, and gold futures is really interesting in such that on the 180-day trend, we saw that it broke a major support. This major support was situated at 1312, and notice how when we came down really significantly. And I think one of you guys mentioned in the comments, which is actually a very interesting and very nice point that you said was, you said GC has a lot of ground to cover going down to find support. So then why do you say that JNUG is a good buy point? So JNUG follows gold, right? So if gold futures go up, JNUG would go up. And yesterday I did say this, /GC was going down, right? And I did say there's a potential for it to continue to go down. You guys can see that it might go to the 20 EMA before it comes back down, gets rejected. So that's very possible. And where can it come down to? Well, it can come down to around here, right? Around 1268. So that's the next support. So why did I say that JNUG, so let's take a look at JNUG, was a good buying point? The first reason was if it does retrace back to the 20 EMA, if it does start going up, JNUG will inevitably be going up. Secondly, JNUG is at the support. You guys can see that on the 180-day chart. Look at this. It's been making higher lows. We know that there's a resistance at $16, around $16.20. Higher lows. We're at the support. So even if /GC start retracing a little bit higher, right, you still have a potential for JNUG to go continue to go up, especially since we're at the support. Look, we kind of tested it here. Why am I saying that this is a good time to buy? Well, this isn't a very good time to buy because we do see /GC trailing lower. But if you guys really wanted to buy to something, I would still recommend crude oil. But if you really wanted to buy into gold, you know, you guys can take a position at JNUG right now, set your stop loss a little lower, let's say just this much, right? We're not going to take a chance to be just maybe 2% lower and then call it a day. And then if it does go up, if it does start trending up, you might be more willing to sell at $15.20. If it starts trailing higher, then, you know, $16. But this is why we've held the support again. Just something to watch, I think, at this point. But good question, good vision, imagination, good, yeah, good catch. All right, /NG, which tracks natural gas. So we talked about natural gas, and here's natural gas on the 180-day chart. We said that there was a resistance. You guys can see that the resistance area is around 2.84. Let's see if I can get a very nice line here, and there it is. First time. Okay, so here's a resistance. The reason I say first time is usually I try to make my line 0%, and it takes a while until that happens. But yeah, okay. So here it is. Here's the resistance at 2.84, right? We briefly went over, but this can always be a false breakthrough. It doesn't really matter. So here it broke through, but now it's coming back down. So again, I'm looking for a position on DGAZ. DGAZ, which is as natural gas pushes up, I expect, or if natural gas does come down, I expect DGAZ or DGAZ to go up. And one of my position is still in DGAZ. It hasn't really changed. And you guys can see that this is a very good confirmation of it continuing going downwards, right? This is a candle where we retested the resistance line, got rejected, and came back down. And here we are right now. So if you guys are waiting to take a position, just be a little I mean, if you guys are in DGAZ right now like I am, I'm just being patient. There's really nothing else to it. I mean, it could come down and a DGAZ could go up. So here's DGAZ. You guys can see that we're at the 20 EMA. I don't think I'm very surprised that we kind of close at the 20 EMA. Remember that tomorrow, I believe the natural gas reports come out. Yep. So the natural gas inventories come out at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Be on the lookout for that. We're looking for a swing upwards or downwards. If you guys don't want to take a position, you don't have to, right? Because that is risky as inventories come out and people start trading. We do get sometimes some really lopsided trading where if we all of a sudden push up and then it goes all the way down and then it trends lower. So you just guys watch out for that report at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So I'm still looking for DGAZ to push up. Regardless, I'm looking for it to push up to at least at 27.50. That's what I'm looking out for. Regardless, look at this. DGAZ's been making lower highs, right? This is something that we have to look out for. So that's why I'm a little conservative at my number. I'm not aiming for around $28. I'm aiming around $27.40, around there before we go in. So let's take a look at a couple of tickers that you guys called out. First of all, I want to show you guys Square. Man, oh man, look at Square, right? We talked about how it was going at the 20. This was a very good confirmation that we're still on the uptrend. We talked about Square yesterday. Did we? I hope we did. Because if we did, I think we talked about how this candle on the 180-day chart, look how it was above the 20 EMA and it got pushed down, pushed back up, and we closed right here. That is such a bullish sign for crude oil. I'm so used to saying crude. That's such a bullish sign for Square. We went over the previous high, and like I said, we're nearing the peak at $58. It certainly has a chance to get up there, but there's a really good chance that we'll pull even higher. And should we pull higher than that, then as long as we come down to the 20 EMA and retest and goes up, 20 EMA and retest, that's the pattern that I'm looking for if you guys want to take a position on Square. Right now, we're so close to the top. I'm not taking a position right now, but you know, if you guys want to ride it from 56.50, 59, well, it's trading at 56.80, but if you guys want to ride it from 56.80 to like 58.40 or $58, I think that's a sure bet that's going to get up there probably tomorrow, especially if the markets do push higher. So I'm gonna look at all the comments right now. The Giants, hey Kevin, hello. Could you check out the ticker NETS? I just bought it at $2.05. I hope I'll make a profit in the next few days. So NETS, so the thing about NETS is you guys can see that earnings came out and then all of a sudden we have this major sell-off and a volume spike. So generally, I don't really like to invest in such things where we have low volume usually, and then all of a sudden because of earnings or some sort of news, we have a volume spike, and this volume spike is to the negative side. That's just really dangerous. Looking at the 180-day chart, you can see this progressively going lower, and all of a sudden, look, even if you look at this earnings report, right? It came all the way down, it recovered barely a little bit, and then it starts going down again before it started recovering. But the general trend is that we've been getting rejected at the red line, the 200 SMA line, and then it came down, right? So I know you're trying to buy into a bargain. This is just not something I would go into. Look, it fell 25.44% today. I wouldn't want to take a chance on this because, you know, you guys look at the MACD, right? The MACD is showing that we're starting a downtrend right now. Just really, really dangerous if you want to go in right now. And that's not something I would do, but if you see value in it, that's up to you. So next person, Chris. Hey, how you doing? Made money on WDC that you called out last week. Great identify support. What is a good exit for PAYC? So yeah, WDC, I will do another video on this, but we talked about when WDC was trending like this around this area, I think, and now we pushed significantly higher. It wasn't very hard to identify support, right? We know that the support is making lower lows, but we know that it has a lot of room to make up. So good job for getting into WDC if you did. PAYC. So PAYC is the other ticker that I'm currently in. The reason I see value in PAYC, and we made a content video on this a couple weeks back or 1.5 weeks back, was that every time it goes to the red line, which is the 200 SMA line, we do see that it starts bouncing up. So yesterday we actually visited this stock again, saying that, right, we kind of went to the 200 SMA and we broke under the 200 SMA, but we kind of consolidated this area. Looking at the previous time it did this, right, it did pretty much the same thing. It came down a little lower than the previous low before it started reversing and going back up. Right now, it came down again below its previous low, and hopefully it'll start turning back up. But we'll see what happens. I took a position at $102. What's a good exit? Well, a good exit right now is, should we validate this as a new support? My exit would still be high. So the first, well, I don't really have an exit right now. If you really want to exit, I would say if you once it gets to the 50 SMA, so around $105.50, that could be your safe exit. But should it start going up, I'm going to reevaluate at that time. How did we push up over the 50 SMA if we did? That's for another time when it does push to 150, or if or when it does. I'll reevaluate, because if it pushes up rather effortlessly, we can see higher prices to come. And I'm looking for pretty much $114 and even higher. But right now, just playing the waiting game right now on PAYC. Okay. XJX. Hello. Great insights. Also take a look at Box. Thanks. So here's Box Incorporated. And we see that Box has been making this higher higher high, and I mean, actually, you guys can see how easily it followed the 20 EMA line, right? The light blue line. Now we're heading back to the top. So ask yourself, look, it might be doing a double top. What's your potential for profit versus potential for loss? It's really not that much, 3%. But what if it starts trending downwards? Wow, 17%, right? You don't want to be going down, especially when it's doing, you know, if it does go back and retest the double top. Surely, I mean, it might continue to go up and push higher than 28.68, but with earnings coming up, and I just don't want to take a chance because we're so overextended. You guys can imagine, look how much we pushed up, and on earnings, look what happened. It fell all the way back down below its previous supports. So that's something to watch out. Oh, and let me know if I'm talking too fast, guys. Sometimes I talk too fast, and I don't know if you guys are able to catch up. I think some people do talk about me talking too fast. All right, so the next one is SOXL. This is the ETF for semiconductors, right? So semiconductors have been really bullish the past few days. Looking at it, we have a support at 123, and that we see another push up. So I like this trend. So as markets do start pushing up, this is a really good buying point. So look at this, right? We formed a nice reverse. This is a really nice candle, actually. This is a really nice candle formation showing that we bounced off the 20 EMA and there's higher prices to come. So right now we're pretty much at the double top. So if or when it comes down to 20 EMA and starts trending back up again, this is the time I would buy in. This is a really good call out, and I actually see potential for this one to go even higher. 8%, 15%, right. I see potential for this one to go higher. So good call out, but let's just wait a little bit because actually, you know, if you guys took a position right here, I wouldn't be, you know, too hard on yourself because I think that's a okay entry position. So good call out. All right. Do I ever invest in silver ETFs, Ryan? I don't because I only take 1 to 2 positions at one time, but I do see potential in USLV, which tracks silver. I think we talked about this a week and a half ago. So your audio on this video is not, but you're awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry for the video. Please comment on Tesla. So this is the last one I'm looking at, and I'll look at Nail next time. Tango. So Tesla, very predictable pattern, right? 285. This is the time when you would want to take a position on Tesla if you think it is bullish. So what's your potential for profit? Maybe 4.5%. Your potential for loss is around 2.75%. That's exactly half. Or is my math wrong? That's exactly okay. So that's like what profit risk to profit, which is 1 to 2. I think, and that's pretty good. I think if you wanted to take a Tesla position, this has been a confirmed support, and this is the time to take a Tesla position. But just be careful because I think there are better positions for you to enter in, and your margin for profit is still kind of slim. Margin for loss is small as well. So you know it's really up to you whether you want to take that position. But yeah. I hope that was a good quality stock talk analysis. I will see you guys tomorrow. Like if you like this video. If you didn't like it, I hope you like it in the future. Comment on these videos and subscribe to the channel. If you guys really like the content, I provide these content. If you guys call out a ticker on the comment section, I'll try to do it the next day. And yeah, I'll just keep it up. Great job. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, Thursday, for another market analysis. All right, see you later.